Hi again, everyone. This video is sponsored by contribution from Astrid, and here's her story. Hi, Ollie. I'm writing this letter along with a contribution. You can again call me Astrid. The last video you did for me, Narcissistic Projection, I know you are, but what am I? I cannot express how unexpectedly validating it was to hear my story read by someone else. It allowed me to focus on the content without any of the self-doubt or shame that usually comes up when I try talking about it myself. And your comments were so incisive. You asked how my brother could not have known, and that's true. I really haven't questioned why we have been so distant most of our lives. Ever since my dad moved out, I became the scapegoat. And it will be the reason we are distant until he figures it out. So while I think the fact that he's the golden child is the cause of why he won't face the horror of my childhood, I shouldn't let him off the hook for it. He's in his mid-20s now. You also made the age difference front and center. To answer your question, as a 29-year-old, there is no way in hell I would ever try to date a 19-year-old boy, much less decide to make him the father of my children. The maturity gap would have been too great, and a 19-year-old isn't ready to make the commitment my 32-year-old mother convinced him to. He was young and naive. She was a predator. It makes me sick. I'll send another letter sometime about the level of her gaslighting him, but that's beyond the scope of this one. I wanted to share with you a letter I received from her over Messenger and part of the subsequent exchange we had, the narcissist in her own words. My recent research into narcissism, including watching the videos on your channel and some ongoing emotional abuse, inspired me to challenge her about why she parentified me. I didn't initiate it, but used her most recent attempt to push back. And the more times I read this, the more difficult it is for me to want to ever see this person again. I'd really be interested in to hear your thoughts, but also just hearing someone else read it out loud might make how fucked up her words are sink in. I also want to remind everyone watching that my line of work is a child speech therapist. My job is basically parenting difficult children and showing the adults in their lives what they're doing wrong. So when she tries to position herself as the parenting a difficult child expert because she's been my mother, keep that in mind. I would split this into two main themes. The first half is like her projected false self, her mask. The second part, the mask comes off and you see more of the narcissistic rage. I welcome your interpretations as well. I know it's long. This conversation happened shortly before I sent you my first letter. Here is the last bit of the conversation leading to this long message. Astrid. The question you should be asking is why you ever saw me as someone who had control over how you felt about yourself. That's a lot of responsibility I didn't ask for, and I'm not equipped to carry. And here is her response. This is a good question. The problem is, if I answer it honestly, I don't think you would understand. You would see it as my making excuses. There is a very good reason why so much of who I am is invested in you. It is complicated, and it is somewhat a function of being a mom of a very challenging child, so it's your fault. Part of it is that I was the one always held responsible for your behavior, way more so than your father. It was very confusing and stressful to be your mom because I never understood what was going on with you, but I always supposed to make sure you conformed. I didn't like having to do that. I always felt stressed and overwhelmed and outwitted. I never felt like I was doing it right. Of course I wasn't. I encountered a ton of disapproval from teachers, admin, friends, relatives over how you behaved. A lot of the time I defended you and tried to make it safe for you to be you, but I often came down on you because I wanted some relief from the constant cognitive dissonance. I thought we had reached a really good point in about 2008, right before the incident when she stole my car, Astrid, before you got sick, in terms of separating my reality from you. You were doing well. We had some nice visits. When you got sick, I drove right back to that overprotective role and have not been able to step away from it. Believe me, I want to, but there was always seemed to be a reason why I needed to help you. Now you don't want or need my help or input, and that is really good for you. I am proud of how you are doing in life. It is all a bad habit at this point. I would love it if we could get back to where we were in 2008, the last time I visited you on Old Street before you got sick. More background here. She visited twice that summer, once before and once after the hospitalization. The second last visit was when she wouldn't let me sleep and then stole my car. I neglected to mention in my last letter that she had also kept me, my friend who was visiting, and my roommate basically trapped in my roommate's room at one point. The apartment was such that they needed to go through my room to get outside. Every time I opened the door, she would start screaming at me. That had actually been what had directly prompted me to ask her to go watch TV in the other room. Later, after she came back from stealing my car, she said I had been shunning her with allies because 2 other people were with me. She also tearfully asked if I liked her. She continues, of course, this is really a condensed explanation. I'm not blaming you for anything. I chose to have children and I chose to stay home with you. I enjoyed a lot of it. I even returned to graduate school and was making progress with my writing when your dad left us and stepdad came in the scene. Unfortunately, I did not pay enough attention to what I wanted and needed in life, much to my detriment. Really? So the 19-year-old wasn't good enough for you? I'm not good at choosing partners or keeping myself near the head of the line when it comes to self-care. Oh, pity. This is my lesson right now, I guess. There are definitely people who would have done much better a job at raising you. Someone more like grandma who is certain that her way is right and very consistent would have been better for you, probably. I was always indecisive and prone to second guess my every move. People used to tell me that you ran my life, criticism from every direction. It hurt, it made me feel quite inadequate. This is Astrid. I didn't want any description of it. I asked why. That is something you can explore in therapy, and then maybe we can have a healthier relationship after you get some insight. Narcissistic mother. Isn't that like asking which came first, the chicken or the egg? It happened as a result of my experiences with raising you, for which I was totally unprepared. Ask any parent who is completely blindsided by the challenges of raising a particular child, and you will find the same answer. It's not like I haven't looked into this phenomenon, which is actually quite common. You're right, narcissism is quite common, bitch. The physical therapy clinic director took me to lunch one day and explained that difficult children often take a hostage, and it is usually the mother because they know mom will always be safe and love them and not abandon them no matter what. Oh, now you were a hostage? Oh my God, you're a hostage. I didn't know. How many days? What color was her ribbon? What color was her ribbon? I didn't know about the narc mom fucking a 19-year-old hostage crisis. I must have missed that one on the news. Shit. Tragic. This is also why so many marriages break up over high needs child. Holy shit. Can she pass any more blame on to you? One parent, usually mom, oh, you are such the fucking martyr, will devote herself to doing everything possible to remedy the situation and keep her child safe. In our case, it was me who read the books, sought out the therapist, took you to the doctors, dealt with your teachers, other parents, and family on your behalf, tried the diets, worked with you as much as possible. Oh, I mean, that's what a mother does. So you want credit for some shit you're supposed to do. Okay. Trust me, it is very rare for a parent and child to completely mesh when it comes to the possible issues that can arise. What fucking Dr. Spock book is she fucking writing this one out of? Holy shit. my God. For those who don't know, Dr. Spock, it's not a Star Trek reference. It's an actual Dr. Spock who was popular when I was a kid, whose own kids were like, he wrote these children's, how to raise children's book, and his kids were like the most fucked up out there as like the biggest running joke. I once read that we have a 25% chance of being a really good personality match to our child, about 50% of it being so-so, and about a 25% chance of having a totally opposite personalities, goals, and interests. She is just throwing as much fucking bullshit at you. This means nothing. I was simply not prepared for all the situations presented. My personality is such that I thought if I just kept trying, I would succeed in giving you whatever environment you needed to succeed. In some ways, I did accomplish that. I was always a people pleaser, and it troubled me greatly that you were not accepted, and also that you were unable to compromise or were even aware of the need to compromise. Jesus, just keep laying it on. Do you want me to discover some huge personality flaw that made me want to help my own daughter survive in this world? Let's just say I loved you so much that I was not always able to be objective where you were concerned. I loved you too much. There it is. I loved you too much. We have talked about this. Your father and I were not always on the same page. Sometimes we encourage your precociousness, but maybe we should have reined you in a bit. Who knows? And often, even when everyone was against you, you were right. I was well aware of that, and I often went to bat for you against all odds. If I knew why I was susceptible to promoting other people's needs over my own, I would be a freaking genius. It is a fairly common MO for women, especially women of my generation, boomers. As I said in my previous message, I think we have reached the point of separation that was healthy just before you got sick in 2008. So again, you got sick in 2008, so this is your fault once again. Was I really supposed to not do everything possible to help you during that time period, which seemed to last forever? I am now doing my best not to question, advise, help, or even expect to spend time with you. I just can't figure out what you want from me. You act as if I never explored this issue with therapists, but I have. But did you ever apologize? Yeah, you're still lying about it. Who cares if you lied to it about therapists? You're still lying about it. Most of them understand that motherhood is tricky and that we are not always successful or perfect at it. I have always looked at why I allowed stepdad's goals and dreams to overshadow mine. Why did I stay home with you instead of going back to a pretty good job because you needed me to do that? What should I have done? I don't think I consciously did anything at all. I mostly reacted to situations and emergencies and difficulties as best I could. And after you were 6, remember, I had no partner, just another child, my father, who had a minor brain injury. I don't think I put my whole sense of self in your hands, but your moods, adventures, scrapes, and difficulties definitely provided a metric in my life. Also, some of what occurred with you was wonderful and uplifting and fun and amazing. Please don't use this conversation to beat me up. Who else is going to deal with things? Oh, honey, I feel we are off on a different topic now. Bitch, you're the only one talking. Oh, honey, we're off on, this is a letter. This isn't a conversation. What a manipulative cunt. I am sorry I tried to explain. You make it all sound so decisively and directed. None of that is true. I was reacting as best I could given who I am. I'm sorry I can't break down my emotional condition on a scientific basis that meets your demands. That is not who I am. She is trying to exhaust you with words. You are giving me way more power than I wielded at the time. Please know that I am very traumatized by what happened to your dad. I still am. But the issues you started way before that. With you started way before that. But you see, I believe we were together before. You don't. She means another. Yeah, she thinks there's another life. It is almost as if we're from different planets. I don't think like you do. I have been able to just simply make a decision to put you in charge of my emotional health, and I would just easily be able to end it, wouldn't I? It was never a decision. Then we had some back and forth. I'm leaving out the most of my responses because at this point I was saying, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry that is your choice over and over again. Astrid, I don't think it's a simple thing. Maybe that's something that you could explore with a therapist, because while it's not simple, it's necessary. Narc mom, what is necessary? That you want me to leave you alone, I can do that. You are essentially asking me to do what you think is right. How is that different from my allowing you to be important to me? Astrid, what's necessary is for you to gain some insight into why you put your sense of self-worth on me and how you can stop doing that. Mom, I think I have stopped doing it and doing it to a great extent. If thinking I deserve some respect and consideration from you is putting my self-worth on you, I just need to learn not to expect those things. We already have such limited contact that it is a joke. Astrid, you are basically saying that if I don't do exactly as you wish, you would dump me. How is that even a friendship or a mother-daughter relationship? Not only that, but I better come out of therapy with results you're demanding, or else. You have no predictability on what may come out of therapy, as I have never been in therapy in my life. I explained to you what I feel happened to make me so invested in your happiness. You have now twisted it to mean something else and are here again threatening me. I just really don't get it. They say a mother is the only happy as her least happy child. You know what? I don't think anything I could ever do would make you accept me. I could dance to your tune forever and you would still find me lacking. Just like the weight issue, you nagged and nagged, and when I finally did something about it, you basically said, that's nice, now fix this. So if I go to therapy of your choice and they don't come out with the right answers, you will not be pleased with that either. No, why would you be? Why would I be? Do you actually understand that I have probably been to more types of therapy than the average person? I thought she said she wasn't in therapy. I don't think any therapist can undo my life experience and the fact that I am a mother, or the fact that I now have two husbands whose brains went south. There is no peace from genuine feelings, Astrid. Sometimes we just have to feel them. What you have shown me here is that you did not take one word of what I said seriously or try to understand what I was saying. No, what she's saying is, I don't believe you and it's not good enough. See, when the narcissist explains themselves, you have to accept the answer. You have to accept it as truth. That's in their minds. That's the problem here. What do you want me to heal from? And how do you think I should grow? Every time you say that choices have consequences, it sounds like a threat. What are you threatening? Are you not responsible for how I feel about myself? I am actually pretty okay with myself. But I do feel great sorrow that you seem to hold me to some impossible hidden standard. Whatever you need or want, I do give, so that is the harmful pattern. You take it all for granted. I just don't feel that way. That is how it has always been. That was my mistake. I made the same mistake with my ex-husband's stepdad. So now I have to just stop because there's no payoff. Astrid, I have a habit of transferring my self-worth. Don't you think I would do it with everyone who is close to me? It's not just you. I hereby relieve you of all responsibility for me or myself, for my self-worth or my feelings or my presence. I do it because that is how I was raised and trained. I am way better now in saying no and refusing to get sucked into other people's trauma and tragedy. Think of it all. Think of all the people I have felt the need to rescue over the years, but not so much anymore. The fact that I was able to give her cat away was a huge deal. The guilt was unimaginable, and she was never even my cat. She stole her from my dad, and this cat had been her cat for 15 of her 16 years, but she is just fine, so am I. I am really sorry that I have failed to meet your standards as a mother and a human being. When you cried and grieved over significant ex-boyfriend, was that because he ruled your self-worth or just because you loved him and wanted to be with him? Was he my Astrid? Was he my romantic partner or my child? Mom, I just feel like we're going around in circles. I'm completely outwitted here by the truth. The narcissist is always outwitted by the truth, and that's really outwitted. You're not outwitted. You're out-truthed. The narcissist is always going to be outwitted by the truth. Do you have a book or something that explains exactly how I should be as a mom? Do you realize that within this entire exchange, you have not said one nice thing to me or told me that there is anything at all that you value about our relationship? Not one word of anything good I have ever done for you. It is just the shape up or ship out. Well, it's not about you feeling good, stupid. See, even when you're trying to heal yourself, you have to compliment them. You have to tell them something wonderful. This woman is sick. This woman is sick. When you use the term emotional caretaker, that is how people describe a child who is forced to be the adult for an alcoholic or drug-addicted parent. I don't believe that is what is going on with us. I was never dependent on you in any way, but your ups and downs definitely affected my equilibrium, and my focus was on you a lot, like a squeaky wheel syndrome. So when you use jargon like that, it makes me believe that you are misrepresenting the situation. I could tell you how I feel due to your actions, but that is not the same as you being my emotional caretaker. And that's the end. I stopped responding at that point, in large part because she pulled out, say one nice thing about me, which, if you can recall, is something she demanded in the Supreme Court rampage I mentioned in my last letter. We didn't talk for several weeks, and then she started messaging me about random family stuff as if nothing happened. But I know this shit is always there beneath the surface. How could things ever improve? I appreciate your feedback. Thank you for creating this online space. Sincerely, Astrid. They're never going to improve. She's a mental case. Everything about this is just one manipulation after another. How difficult you were. Everything was better until you got sick. She didn't know how to handle such a difficult child as you. She loved you too much. She takes no responsibility for any of the past abuse of your last video. None of it. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. She's not outwitted. She's out-truthed, and that's the problem. The narcissist will always be outwitted by the truth. You can't fix this woman. The only thing you can do is block her from all media platforms and cut her out of your life permanently, because this is going to continue. She doesn't get it. She doesn't go to therapists, and if she does, she lies to them. They get frustrated. Therapy will not work on her because she is a liar who takes zero responsibility for everything. The whole entire therapy session will be about how difficult you were as a child. None of this will get addressed. None of it. Believe me. Cut her out. Cut her out now. You coddled her too much with this shit. I wouldn't even have given her that. But you did. It's time to cut it. Things will never, ever improve. Never. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but that is the reality. It's not a battle of wits. Right there, I'm completely outwitted. What wits do you need when you're dealing with truth? Right there, she's telling you, I'm lying. This is all bullshit. Everything I wrote is bullshit. I'm completely outwitted. She thinks this is some kind of lying contest. She's playing. This is what I'm trying to tell you, Astrid. This is a game to them. They'll never understand it. How do you get outwitted by the truth? It's not a battle of wits. It's let's figure out what's happened with the truth. But that's not what she's doing. She's trying to outwit you with lies to avoid the truth. You can't fix her. You can't. That's as honest as I can be and as blunt as I can be about it with you. So, Thank you again for your contribution and your story. I really hope this helps and sinks in. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, or you'd like to set up a private video, a Skype chat, or phone call, you know what to do with the PayPal and the email links in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Bye.